Welcome to Larry the Alchemist and another edition of Sabbath Sunday. This is where we get together on Sundays to discuss various Black Sabbath related topics. Darren was unable to join us this week, so I am flying solo. And I thought it would be fun to share with you some of the Black Sabbath compilation albums that I have on vinyl. Now, I don't really consider myself to be a hardcore collector, and what I mean by that is I get one version of an album and I just stick with that. I like having one copy, even if it's not technically the best version of it or whatever. It's the copy that I have that I am familiar with, and I just stick with that. There's other people that when they collect different pressings and stuff like that. And I know that Darren, for instance, has a lot of different pressings of certain albums, and we'll have him at some point show some of the different pressings and talk about that stuff with you. That's really an area that I don't know a whole heck of a lot about. But I do like collecting compilations because I think it's fun to have on vinyl the songs in a different order, just a different sort of collection of songs, the different album covers. And I've made videos on my channel that I call cool compilations. And I especially like compilations that give you things that weren't released on the studio albums, like B-sides, or for instance the Beatles, the Red and Blue compilations. Those have a lot of singles and stuff that weren't on the proper studio albums. Pink Floyd's Relics, I've done videos on both these groups of records that I'm talking about. Unfortunately with Black Sabbath, you don't really get that with their compilations. You don't get any rare stuff, live stuff, or B-sides or anything like that. So it's really just sort of collecting it for the fun of it. Just when I see it out in a store, I just like the covers and I like Black Sabbath, so I get them, and it's just sort of fun putting the album on and listening to the stuff in different orders. Now, Black Sabbath, because of their sort of messy management situation, there's all these compilation albums out that the band, I'm sure, has little to no say or completely unaware that most of these have come out. Even the bigger ones, like the first one I'm going to talk about here, the band didn't even know this was going to get put out, and this is one of these things. If you go back to my video on unofficial releases versus bootlegs and stuff, these are things that, because of messy contracts with previous managers and stuff, people get the rights to their back catalog and then they just start releasing compilation albums. It's like with Judas Priest and Gull Records. Gull Records released the first two Judas Priest albums, Rock and Roll and Sad Wings of Destiny. And those are the only two albums that Gull has the rights to, and they've released like multiple compilation albums that only consist of songs from those first two albums, because that's the only albums that Gull Records has the rights to. All right, so with Black Sabbath, there are a few compilations that I think most people would recognize from the band. And the first one is definitely We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. I always thought that was awkward. It should be We Sold Our Souls, plural, right? We and then souls, but I don't know. Does it make sense? Am I misunderstanding it? I got another hair in my mouth. I just made a video recently and I had a hair in my mouth in another video. All right, so We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. This came out in the 70s. Band wasn't even aware of it. It's got a cool kind of gatefold thing here. And it collects stuff mostly from the first 3 or 4 records. And I guess there's some value to this. And my version has Warning on it, the song Warning. But there's versions of it that have the song Wicked World, which was unavailable in the UK. The UK version of the first Black Sabbath album had the song Evil Woman in place of Wicked World. And so for those people, the only way for them to hear Wicked World was if they had the B-side single that I think it was part of it was the B-side to some single, or they could get this compilation. But if you were in the US, these were all songs that you had already, and it's pretty heavy on the first 3 albums. You know, you get Am I Going Insane from Sabotage, which seems like a strange choice, but that was a single at the time. But that's the only thing represented from Sabotage. You get Laguna Sunrise, Snowblind, Changes, Tomorrow's Dream from Volume 4. You don't get, what do you get from Sabbath? You get Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath. So it's pretty heavy on the first 3 albums, but this is one that you saw in the stores that a lot of people probably have or had at one time or another. All right, this is the next one that's probably most common that you would see in the stores, is this greatest hits, and it's sort of famous, if you will, for this Hieronymus Bosch, I think I'm pronouncing the name correctly, cover. And the back cover is pretty cool, and this was pretty widely available. This is stuff from only the first 4 albums. Again, pretty heavy on the first 3. That's always a disappointing thing with a lot of these compilations, is they take pretty heavily from like the first 3 albums and Paranoid, because that's where, you know, their quote hits were from. All right, here's another 2 that these are real interesting. I used to see these in the store when I was younger, and these Black Sabbath Attention Volume 1 and Attention Volume 2. I remember this one especially, and this sort of, you know, this picture of the band, and they're very, very similar, I think. Again, it's mostly, this is all songs from the first 2 albums, and this one is the 3rd album, the 2nd and the 3rd album. It's got Sweet Leaf on it, and After Forever from Master Reality. Otherwise, it's just, you know, the same stuff on both of these. So they're sort of, you know, these things in some ways are cash grabs. They're not really giving the fans very much. These are on WWA record label. There's no inserts. There's nothing on the back of them or anything. It's, you know, so they're sort of just slapped together. But these are 2 other ones that you used to see in the record stores in the 80s. All right, and there are some other official ones that I believe this is an official one. The Best of Black Sabbath. This is a 4 LP set, and this is kind of unique because it has stuff all the way up to including the Born Again record, which again, usually these things don't include that. And this has a pretty cool inside here, gatefold thing. This is definitely an official one. This came out really not that long ago, I think, after they did their remasters. And what's kind of cool about this one is it represents all the 8 Ozzy era albums. You know, you got Never Say Die in here, you got Dirty Women, you got Hard Road. So you got some that are a little different that you didn't typically see on compilations. It's Alright, Am I Going Insane is on here, Embryos on here, Rock and Roll Doctor, Spiral, Architect, Hole in the Sky, Symptom of the Universe. So it's a little bit more evenly spread, and it opens up into this, what's going on here? It's going to be hard to see all this, but it opens up into a big cross thing here, which is pretty cool. If you're going to do something like this. This came out, I think, when they did one of their remaster sets. Maybe when the Black Box came out. I don't remember. But it came out around then. Okay, this is one. I don't know if this was approved by the band or not. Blackest Sabbath. This has stuff up to and including the Eternal Idol, which is pretty cool. I think that's what's unique about this. 1970 to 1987. I don't think that there's anything particularly, yeah, it's just got the words on the inside, but the record sleeve is kind of cool. Okay, now these other ones are, you know, there would be different compilations. The back cover of this too is the album covers at the bottom. Different compilations from different countries and stuff. And again, a lot of these now we're getting into things that are just slapped together. This has got that picture from, these are the pictures from the inside of Volume 4, and you're getting mostly stuff from the first 3 albums. And for some bizarre reason, I don't know if you can see this, there's like a sticker over, like, for changes on the second track. It's like as if they put this there. I don't want to peel it off, but as if maybe there was an error and then they just, you know, corrected it by putting that sticker over it. It also has Evil Woman on it, which I guess is kind of, you know, in the US, Evil Woman wasn't released. you know, it wasn't on the original Black Sabbath album. All right, here's another one. Star Gold. Pretty not so exciting name. I can't get it out, but there's nothing special particularly about it on the back cover or anything. This has a cool cover. Black Sabbath, Kings of Hell. Again, it's mostly, I get Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath on here. Cornucopia, Laguna Sunrise. The back cover is kind of cool. This is kind of a weird cover. Reflection, Black Sabbath. And this has stuff. It's got Symptom of the Universe, Megalomania, Thrill of It All, Hole in the Sky. Actually, it's got stuff from just Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and Sabotage on it, which is interesting. The back cover has some text on it. All right, Rock Legends, Black Sabbath. Nothing too, well, Backstreet Kids, Rock and Roll Doctor, Dirty Women Never Say Die, Shockwave, Air Dancer on the Blade. This is actually, I don't know if these are from, this is Fontana. I don't know who put this out. This is Vertigo, actually, and this is stuff from Technical Ecstasy and Never Say Die. That's kind of cool. Here's another Rock Legends. I think this is the same. Yeah, this is the same as this one. It just has a different cover. And the back cover of it is nothing special. All right, this is a cool cover. This is the last one I've got here. Black Sabbath, the collection. Mostly stuff from, well, it's got up to and including Sabotage stuff on here. And kind of a cool inside thing. So, all right, there you go. There's my Sabbath compilations. I think it's kind of fun collecting these when I come across them in stores. And so when I was first getting into record collecting, this is when I found most of these. So, all right, there you go. Let me know if you have any cool Black Sabbath compilations, anything that I don't have in mind that you might have. Maybe you're from another country and there's, you know, certain, because that's the way they did some of these. Sometimes there are compilations that only came out in certain countries. So maybe you have some of those. Let me know what you think of the ones that I have. And we'll see you next week. Darren will be back with me next week. We're working on some guests too for some future Sabbath Sunday episodes. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.